So in the last video we were talking about the gap between stimulus and response and using our ability to understand that we have a choice in the moment to choose how we want to react to any given situation. Now note that this is a reactive model, so we have a stimulus and we have a response with no gap in between for conscious choice. Therefore, the stimulus itself produced the response without the individual having any say of what the best outcome would have been in the situation. Now, we first have to understand that we need to be responsible for our actions. So let's take that word for a second. Response-able. When you are responsible, you are able to produce a response of your own choosing. Now there's three types of control you can have of the life situations. You can have situations that you have control over, you can have situations you have indirect control over, and you have situations that you have no control over. All three of these make up your experience. If your goal is self-improvement, then you want to pay a lot of attention to the things you have direct control over. Now this usually comes down to willpower and your current habits. These are things that you have complete control over, like waking up early, the things you put in your mouth, the things you say to people, anything that you have complete control over the outcome. When speaking of indirect control, we're talking about any type of relationship with another person. A common example of this is an intimate relationship, because when two people come together, they are very sensitive to the mood and emotion of the other person. So you are responsible at some level for your actions and the effect that they have around the people that care about you and have a vested interest in the way you act and feel. Now these are things you have absolutely no control over and plain and simple are nonsense to worry about. So one example could be if an individual doesn't like you, spending your time worrying or thinking about how they don't like you would not be serving you in any way. Another way is thinking about some of the constant negativity that is sprayed at us through the media. To an extent we need to know about this stuff, but to a greater degree we don't need to sit and worry about it all the time. Now, I find the best way to integrate this information is to try to spend as much time as possible working on the things that you have direct control over. If you do that, then this is going to influence your indirect relationships, because you will be much happier with your life situations and you'll be much more likely to positively influence the people around you as opposed to the opposite. So what do we do about it? It's a good question, because that's a large task. To start saying that we're going to take control of our actions and really be in control of ourselves, and it's just not going to happen right away. You're always leaving a mess in the sink. Do you ever clean up after yourself? Why are you being such a bitch? We all do this in one way or another.